Why do we respond so much to Rachmaninoff's music? Is it all about the melody, the harmony, or maybe those massive chords? What does Rachmaninoff's melody conceal, and how does he combine the brightest kind feeling with the pain of feeling it? Is it joyful music with notes of sadness, or sad music with notes of happiness? Hello, my name is Linda, and today we'll study the works of Sergei Vasilievich Rachmaninov. Pour some tea, grab some cookies, subscribe to the channel, and let's figure it out. Rachmaninov was born in a small village. His father and grandfather were good pianists. His mother began to teaching her son when he was 4 years old. But he liked to have fun and didn't like to study music at all. At the age of 9, Sergei entered the conservatory in St. Petersburg, but he often skipped classes and wasn't serious. Therefore, his parents decided to send him to study in Moscow, to a strict conservatory and very serious professor Nikolai Zverev. Each student in this boarding school had to study 6 hours in a day. All education was aimed at a serious approach to music. Students were often visited by various composers and pianists. They talked about music and together reflected on works. Life in this boarding school tempted Rachmaninoff's character. He became attentive to details, diligent in work, and immersed in musical creativity. After this boarding school, he entered the Moscow Conservatory. He studied with his cousin Alexander Ziloty and Sergei Taneyev, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's favorite student. Sergei Vasilievich graduated from the conservatory with a gold medal. To this day, he is considered its most gifted graduate. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky took his harmony exam and gave him an A with 4 pluses. In 1893, at the age of 20, after graduating from the conservatory, Rachmaninov wrote a collection of romances, which includes one interesting romance called Dream. I want to say that in Russian, dream is used to several meanings. Imagination while you sleep. It's about pictures that you see while you sleep. Yeah, here you understand. And also, dream can be called something ghostly, like a mirage. It's not about a goal or passion. It is dream, but ghostly. It can be called a dream, but a distant and very unrealizable one. Dream is always about something that cannot be realized in real life. So this is what this romance is about. And it has a text. And I had a native land. It was beautiful. There's this spruce swayed about me. But that was a dream. The soprano performs the vocal part like a voice from the past that never was. The part is performed at the top, but when the melody breaks off, the words, "but that was a dream," are already sung lower, as if bringing us down to earth. That entices us and rushes further and further. And this melody is very beautiful and sweet, but at the same time it pinches the heart. And this melody leads us and then abruptly breaks off, as if we were too lost in this dream that wasn't destined to come true, and we wake up, that is a return to reality. That was a dream. The family of friends was alive. From all sides, words of love sounded to me. But that was a dream. In the second verse, the soprano voice goes even higher. Even higher, as if showing even more of what our heart wants and breaking off even more strongly against this chord. But that was a dream. And after that, the piano part completes the entire romance by repeating this melody, but no longer breaking off, but ending softly, like an aftertaste after a pleasant dream. It is as if we are once again immersed in it, but we already understand that this is only a ghost, a mirage. And we cannot immerse ourselves deeply in it. We cannot believe that it will come true, but we simply look at the pictures that pass us by. At the same time, Rachmaninov wrote another romance, Don't Sing Beauty, in My Presence. The Caucasus has always been of great importance to Russia, in Russia. You could say that it was a separate part, a separate world, with free people, with huge mountains, beautiful steppes, and such a sweet feeling of freedom. You see, in St. Petersburg and Moscow, there are a lot of decorum, outfits, balls, receptions, concerts, manners were needed. Creative people often felt like they were in a cage. And here you come as if no wild place and as if you were really alone in nature. And this romance is partly about this and partly about the pain that people experience yearning for their native country. Before the voice comes in, we hear a soft melody which is constantly accompanied by a sostenuto bass, a bell ringing. Listen to how the melody sounds without the bass. It sounds like a lullaby, something that calms us down, but the bass changes everything. sounds more like something that we buried. And in this case, a past life is buried here, and only sadness for it and memories remain. The soprano enters after the arpeggio with an accent, as if stopping the motifs that we heard in the introduction, and the opening lines also sound with an arpeggio, that is, the voice seems to speak separately from these memories and thoughts. The opening line sounds like this. Do not seek beauty in my presence. Your songs of sad Georgia. And after that we hear again the accompaniment that was at the beginning, and an oriental melody appears in the soprano's voice, as if immersing us in what the girl feels and what memories she hides about her homeland. They remind me of another life and a distant shore. Then there is a flash as if pictures of the past appear in her head again. Listen. Text, which is accompanied by a little drama which quickly dies down because it's all gone, it's all in the past. This is a forgotten life. They remind me of your cruel tones, and the steep, and the night, and in the moonlight the features of a distant poor maiden. It's interesting that during these lines a melody appears in the piano part that is ordinary tears or slide are transformed into a voice that cries along with the girl. Listen this part. Again a flash, again it bows down. And here comes the drama. At first it goes in a major key, but after a while it becomes sad. Seen you, I forget, dear fatal ghost, but you seem, and before me I imagine him again. And again the theme returns, again in arpeggio, and the same words as the beginning. Do not sing beauty in my presence. Your sons of sad Georgia. Your sons of sad Georgia remind me of another life and a distant shore. But the next melody is already somewhere far away, no longer with us. How it was at the beginning. Da, da, da. But now it's like and the growling bass which is played steadily and seems to depict an alarm. The melody slowly descends down and down. Lower and lower, and then the whole romance ends with a bright arpeggio as if awakening us and summing up that all this cannot be returned. It's gone, all the past life is gone, like the last final arpeggio. Very fast, sad, and irrevocable. Irrevocable. Rachmaninov was extremely self-critical and demanding of himself. Rachmaninov experienced periods of creative doubt both after failures and after particularly successful concerts, and he experienced them painfully. Once, after finishing a performance to the stormy delight of the audience, Rachmaninov locked himself in his dressing room and didn't open the door for a long time. When the door finally opened, he didn't let anyone say a word. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. I know myself that I am not a musician, but a shoemaker. That was Rachmaninov. In 1895, Rachmaninov composed his first symphony. Symphony is the highest genre of instrumental music. Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky wrote, "Isn't this what a symphony should be, that is the most lyrical of musical form? Shouldn't it express everything for which there are no words but which ask from the soul and wants to be expressed?" So that is what the composer lives by, what he thinks about, feels and breathes. He expresses everything in the symphony. That is his whole being, all of him in this inward. Rachmaninov waited a long time for the symphony to be shown, and in 1897 the premiere took place. And now think about, remember the fact about his life, about his character, that he was super self-critical and demanding himself. Yeah, and remember that he invested everything in his whole soul in this symphony. And his first symphony was a resounding failure, receiving a very negative assessment from the public and critics. It was a gigantic tragedy for him. This failure undermined the composer so much that he didn't compose anything for the next 3 years, having lost his inspiration. For the composer, the devastating reviews were a real blow. Here is what he wrote in a letter to his friend Alexander Zataevich 2 months later. Either I, like some authors, am unfairly based towards this work, or this work was poorly performed. And this was indeed the case. I am surprised that such a highly talented person as Glazunov can conduct so poorly. Or if the symphony were familiar to the public, it would blame the conductor. If the piece is unfamiliar and poorly performed, the public is included, no blame the composer. This seems to be a probable point of view. Moreover, the symphony, if not decadent as they write and understand this world, is a really little new. He constantly thought about why the audience didn't like his symphony. Often musicologists inclined to think that Glazunov, the conductor, didn't take this music seriously enough and was unable to show it in this form in which it should have been presented. When it comes to a new vision of something, it is important to present it correctly, otherwise the audience may not understand. Rachmaninov destroyed the score of this symphony. For him, it was a severe blow. Only scraps of parts were restored after the composer's death. He was in deep mourning. And he managed to get out of a creative crisis with the help of the famous hypnotist Dr. Nikolai Dahl. He studied with him for 5 months, taught and played music. Dahl helped Rachmaninov believe in himself again. There was a premiere of his second concert in 1901. After 3 years of prolonged depression, Rachmaninov composed the second piano concerto, which the composer dedicated to a psychotherapist, writing on the title page of the score. This is not my concerto. This is your concerto. The first part is familiar to everyone. Incredibly beautiful, dramatic, and filled with deep meaning. So it's bell ringing, and then this is first theme, and second theme is But the second part is no less beautiful. We are presented with a gentle, bright, and tearfully subtle and touching melody. The string ensemble gives an introduction, and then we hear the slow waves of the piano part. So, this is string. And then we hear piano. The melody sounds in the flute part. The piano first accompanies it. then the theme appears. It is born from the melody that we heard, the strings join it. We rise up and then slowly descend. This is an endless melancholy. When you are sad, this music merges with your heart. When you are happy, it also merges with you, adding notes of sadness. Here it reaches a small climax and dies down. And this same theme appears already in the piano, sounds more embracing everything around. And strings etchery. And a new wave as soft as the side, as soft as the tide, and it subscribes. This part is built on one melody, gradually developing. It opens up more and more, reveals to us the heart of the composer, the heart of a man with a deep suffering soul. This concert was a great success. It was an innovation of the time with the traditions of past eras. Rachmaninov found a balance between the variety of piano art and its symbolism with the orchestra. Sergei Taneyev, his professor, wrote, "I like Rachmaninov's concerto more and more every time. Is it possible to find fault with the fact that the piano almost never plays without an orchestra?" Yeah. After the brilliant second concert, Rachmaninov again began to compose a lot and with full dedication. He composed a sonata, second suite, cantata, romances, variations on a theme by Chopin, and in 1903 he published a collection of preludes consisting of 10 numbers. It must be said that he wrote Prelude number 5 2 years before the release of the entire collection. The prelude has 3 parts, where the first and third go with one rhythmic marching melody, a martial one. And the second part is lyrical, and it's precisely there that the sun beauty is present. First part. Yeah, and the third time, yeah, the same. And here is the second part. The theme sounds in the right hand in the octave range. It should be said that there is also a second voice in the register located below, and it will enter a little later. Here Rachmaninov has 3 waves. Here comes the first wave. Oh, pianissimo. And a small voice echoes it. Then comes the second wave. Again a voice. covers us, but not yet completely. Because after this small culmination, there follow 3 more waves, but already on a large scale, and the third wave will cover us completely. Here's the first. And here is the third. It should be said that without the melody in the left hand, and it would be more difficult for us to feel the depth of this melody and its vulnerability. Without the characteristic wave-like accompaniment in the second melody. But together with all the notes, it really achieves the heart and creates a feeling that something is very far away. Rachmaninov seems to open the heart and reveal the pain that lies on it. You know, sometimes it is so sad that you want to love bitterly, but in Rachmaninov everything is so bright and kind that it becomes very sad and you want to cry. But these are not tears of happiness, but some kind of melancholy and sadness from hearing such bright music. Rachmaninov can be called the face of the Romantic era. He combines contrasts and melancholic to the depths of his soul, composing the same piercing melody with light and sadness. He has worked with the absence of sadness, but the beauty of the world in the diversity. There is no sadness without joy, as well as joy without sadness. Listen to his music, love art, and watch my videos. Thank you.